Hey, welcome back everyone to another episode of the Droid Life Show. We're on episode 35 tonight. I'm Rose Kellen. With me as always, the Droid Life team. We've got Tim, Ron, and Eric. Everybody say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here from Droid Live.
Hi, this is Ron.
Hey, it's Eric.
So welcome back after a week off. We were in New York doing Galaxy Note 3 stuff last week and Galaxy Gear stuff. So since we took a week off, we've got some big stuff to talk about. First of all, those two. We've also got LG G2s in hand. Tim and I do want to share some thoughts on that. Obviously, the big announcement yesterday was all the iPhone stuff, Apple's new lineup. Got apps and games, usual stuff. So let's start obviously with the Galaxy Note 3. Then we'll move into the Gear. But Galaxy Note 3 announced last Wednesday, big double event in Berlin and Times Square. I was at the Times Square get together, and I've got to say though that I missed almost the whole sort of live feed. I don't know if you guys knew that, but the press that were in New York, the feed just died like halfway through right when the Note 3 came on, and so I missed everything. So they let us go in and do hands-on stuff while that was still going on, while you guys were still watching, and I had no idea anything about the phone. Like I was getting ready to like film like a hands-on, and I was like, wait, I don't even know anything. I didn't even get to watch it. So. But anyways, we finally got that together. So we've got a Note 3 with 1080p display, 5.7-inch, 2.3 gigahertz Snapdragon 800, 3 gig of RAM, which is kind of crazy to think. I still almost don't believe that, but 3,200 milliamp hour battery, 13 megapixel rear camera that records 4K, right? That's confirmed, 4K.
Confirmed.
Yes.
Okay. We're looking at Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, US Cellular, LTE, CDMA, GSM, yada, yada, yada. There is a micro USB 3.0 port on the bottom, which is kind of cool. We haven't really talked much about it. 168 grams, same size or maybe even a little bit smaller than the Note 2, but obviously bigger display. So they kind of went like they did with the Galaxy S4, how it's the same footprint as the S3, but bigger display, all that good stuff. So I just want to go around and get everyone's thoughts. What did you think about Note 3? Again, I still am kind of in limbo about it because I missed half of the unveiling. I didn't get to see the magic on stage, but you guys all got to see it. So, Tim, do you want to just give me your sort of initial impressions of the Note 3?
It's kind of much exactly what I had initially expected, just because, I mean, not that we had seen leaks or anything like that, but just, I mean, the specs kind of line up with what we had initially intended on them being, basically. I mean, okay, 3 gigs of RAM is pretty sweet. I was thinking it'd be 2.5, but I was not surprised by 13 megapixel OIS type technology in the camera, or the display size is just right where I pictured it would be, just kind of thinner bezels but bigger display. 1080, of course. I mean, it's exactly what I had pictured it being. So they didn't blow me away with any new features or anything like that. Of course, no 16 gigabyte storage option because TouchWiz and all that stuff just takes up way too much space. Shout out to Samsung for making it happen. And yeah, it's great. It's so great. I can't wait. I'm actually really excited to get my hands on one finally to see if I could possibly find myself entering another cult for this thing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You can enter the faux leather notebook style cult.
I'm a little okay. Okay, now that you bring it up, I'm a little
what
disappointed
a disaster.
about that. What's up with that, man? All right.
It's so gross.
I'm the only one that likes it. Is that right?
Yeah, you must.
So you do like? Okay, so yeah, Ron, give me your thoughts on the Note 3, because forever now you haven't really been the biggest Samsung fan, but you kind of like at least some of it.
I still hate Samsung, but
okay.
But I feel like if I were wanting to get like a Note, like I like that it's kind of a callback to like older PDAs and that kind of thing. So and obviously with a actual notebook, obviously with the the edges on it, but. I don't know. I think if I was looking for a device like that, I'd want something like that. So that's not anything that I want. I think it's huge, and but some of the stuff with in particular the what's it called S window or Swindo. I think that's actually a pretty cool feature, especially if you have like that much screen real estate to use. I think it'd be better on a tablet, but if that's your one device and that's what you do, like I think that's pretty cool. So, and having a device that big enables you to do stuff like that. I don't know that you necessarily need to have a pen to do that, but it's cool. I think that's something where it's like, okay, there's some innovation there that isn't just about having 80 gigs of camera filters on your phone.
So basically, I'm not buying it, but you should type of deal going on here. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm hearing?
Once again, as usual, I'm recommending a phone that I'm not actually going to buy, which, by the way, everybody in the world does all the time.
Well, let's grab the pitchforks. It's time to riot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just asking if that's what's going on.
That's accurate. Yeah, I'm not buying a Galaxy Note 3.
Okay, so explain why you like the faux leather back, though. I'm baffled by this.
I think it's, like I said, it's kind of a throwback to kind of a classic look for PDAs and that kind of thing, and it's very normal for PDAs of that size to have leather cases like that and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I just it's more nostalgia than like actually like the aesthetics of it. But if you're gonna have a device like that and put it in one of the like the cover cases they have for it and everything else like that, I think it fits fine. So
It's like a throwback to Apple's skeuomorphic design.
exactly, they brought skeuomorphism to a whole new level. It's fake but physical.
It's fake physical.
Fake physicality.
skeuomorphism.
That's what Samsung's about. Inspired
Right,
by
so-
nature
so
and dead cows.
Apple ditches skeuomorphic design, and Samsung's like, yeah, we'll take it. That's
pick it
awesome.
up.
We're
We're gonna
calling
take a step
for
further.
that.
Right?
Let's just make it look like a notebook. That would. It feels gross. I'm not gonna
So
lie.
literal.
I was trying to look at it, and there's like stitching along the edge, and
I'm not down with it.
I'm not down. I don't necessarily agree with their plastic designs either. You know, the backside kind of glossiness on the Galaxy S4, but I don't think going faux leather with stitching was the right way to go. But hey,
Yeah,
something
but
to-
if you had to pick though, I think you'd pick the faux leather over in terms of like
Velcro.
holding it.
So I would have gone faux leather, or I would go faux leather if it didn't have the stitching. I think the stitching is what makes it over the top. They should have just wrapped because it's still one of those really flimsy plastic backs. You can
Right.
still bend it and
Like
stuff. They
crazy,
just wrap.
You
Yeah,
can
they
bend
just
it like
wrapped
Beckham.
it. Yeah, you can. Yeah. So if they would have just wrapped it with faux leather and not gone the extra mile with the stitching, it'd be fine. It wouldn't feel that bad. You would have gone, oh, I got this faux leather phone. Would have been
Yeah,
fine.
but then they wouldn't be able to say that it's inspired by nature.
But what if the
think
Moto
they
X
did.
came with a faux leather back that you could pick?
Oh my
on
gosh!
the
What if it
Moto
came with a
X?
real leather back?
Oh,
Yeah, see, they would go real, not faux.
yeah.
They're just gonna go cow skin. They're not even gonna dry
No
it.
stitching.
All right, Eric, give me your thoughts on Note 3.
Well, first off, I want to ask how. I'm pretty sure you can't. Once you get into the Note cult, I'm pretty sure you can't just get out. So good
Not
luck
allowed.
with that, Tim. I'm pretty sure you can't just.
No.
You can't just piece out of that.
Okay.
But
Okay, is the response. I'm stuck. Well,
for people that aren't
Okay.
really fans of the Note to begin with, I mean, I don't think they really won me over with this. I mean, it's still
this
got
didn't change everything for you.
no, it did not. I mean, the 4K cameras, that's cool. 1080p screen, yeah, it's been done
You've
before.
got a 4K TV, right? You can watch it.
Yeah, since we all have our 4K TVs to watch it
Yeah.
all.
No, I've got my
Well,
4K screen here. in my
We got
PC, but
our
not
we
the
got our
TV.
Moto money. What are you guys talking about? I'm rocking
Yeah.
4K everything.
See, it's able to record in 4K. It's even more forward thinking than the iPhone 5S. Huh?
Tim's
that
hanging
line.
out on his 4K TV right now. His
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
4K TV. Anyways, go ahead, Eric.
I mean, 3 gigabytes of RAM is pretty ridiculous. It'd be nice to have that in my phone, but I don't know. It's still just you can't. It's still the same size, or not the same size, but it's still near the same size as the first and second Note. And I mean, that's what's either going to make you love it or hate it. So if you didn't like it before, you're not going to like this one. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's still a little bit too big for me. I mean, I understand it's on spec wise, it blows everybody away, but it's too big. It's too big, and that's what she said.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got my hands on it, and I was trying to record, hands-on stuff, and I couldn't show some of the things because you need two hands to use the thing, which was a little bit frustrating. But, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the Note 2 because I thought it was too big. Note 3, cool device if you like that size of device and that whole experience. Just, personally, we'll leave it to Tim.
Yeah, or especially if that's your only computer, for lack of
Yeah.
a better word, like that. Like I get it if you're in that space,
Yeah, and if I didn't sit home all day on the internet doing blogging and this kind of stuff, and I had a real job and had like spreadsheets or something, I don't know.
Mobile journalism.
That's
I would-
every real job involves spreadsheets. Everybody knows
Yeah,
that.
well, spreadsheets and
It's
drawing and drawing sticky notes on my phone and multitasking on my phone to do creative stuff. I don't, that's what they show, right? It makes a lot of sense. It does some really, really cool stuff. I personally just don't have, any use for that stuff, but clearly millions of people do because they've sold. What was I think somebody posted a number this week. It was almost 40 million or something like that.
That's ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. So.
There's certain aspects of a phone, like the one thing I'm kind of excited about the Note 3 is the camera. Like, I mean, for any type of phone, the camera is kind of like what gets me first because I just love taking pictures. Even if they're crappy, I just like taking pictures. So that's like what excites me about the G2 the most. I mean, it has like a really cool camera. So even if like using the phone is a real pain in the butt and it's kind of bad to look at, I like using the camera. So,
that's the kind of compromise you're willing to make for a good camera.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're an Android user, your life is compromised, basically, because there's always something wrong with each phone you're using. There's always some type of downfall with each thing. So I hate to say it.
Have you heard of the Pre?
No.
The perfect phone?
Is that
Pre-sighting.
Right? Yeah, definitely not Android, I don't think, but yeah.
You said if you're an Android user, you're used to compare,
Yes, of course. Well, I was having this conversation the other day, but like the iPhone, it has a limited amount of features, but it does all of those features 100% well all of the time, and they just work. But like say on the Moto X, it's like the perfect Android phone, except the camera blows. So there's always something that kind of brings it down to like the human level. It's not like a god phone because it just doesn't have something.
Something always makes
Finally played with the Moto X.
Yeah, how'd you like it? Are you getting it?
No.
Okay.
In purple.
But you can't. You really honestly can't. Like obviously all the reviews have said this, but you honestly can't tell that it's mid-range specs at all.
No, you can't. It's great.
Outside of the camera, obviously. That you can definitely tell there's something horrible going on there.
Yeah.
90% sure it's the same camera as the Droid 2.
It very well could be.
I have a lot of really bad pictures saved up from my Droid 2 days, and
there's a time in Ron's timeline of life where the pictures just get really, really bad.
Yeah.
That was the Droid.
It's like my childhood that looked great, Polaroids and everything, and then all of a sudden it just gets really bad with the Droid 2.
Motorola. If Motorola could have done something really good with this camera on the Moto X, it probably would be.
It's
the
hard
perfect
because it's like
device.
there aren't any good cameras for phones out there. So I mean, what do you want to do? It's not like there are any other possible suppliers they could go to get a camera. Their hands are tied. What do you want them to do?
And who did they keep using? It's the same terrible company over and over and over again.
I forget. I think it's called like You've Made a Huge Mistake Incorporated.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't use this, please.
Since 2009, yeah.
Yeah.
And look we're talking about the Moto X. Moto money.
Oh yeah, that's part of the drinking game. Everybody should be drinking right now.
Yeah, they all should be. So back to the Note 3. It comes out early. Right.
Rum and Coke.
Comes out early October. Pre-orders for Verizon, I think, are already open, right? They started last week. AT&T might have pre-orders as well. T-Mobile's don't start for a while. But yeah, early October. I think October 10th is when Verizon's is shipping, and AT&T's might even be earlier than that. So it's coming out soon. We're weeks away. Hopefully we'll have a review unit before then. We should. So we should be able to give you guys our thoughts on it. Any last Note 3 notes?
Yeah,
you want to mention?
It's very interesting. You would think that there'd be more to talk about, but really, it's not. It's not a crazy. Not a crazy jump.
If you're looking to, if you were like on the original Note, or you were on like an S2 or something, you're looking for an upgrade, and you're interested, like it's a good phone to get if you want something that huge.
Funny story. Okay. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I was traveling in San Francisco, and it was in a hotel bar. And it's in the Marriott hotel, so it was overlooking the city. And I saw a guy pull out a big phone with a huge display. I thought I had never seen a display this huge, Skybar. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, what phone is that? And I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, look at that phone right there. Would you mind going over and asking him what phone that is? Because it would be really embarrassing for me to go over there and say, hey, what phone is that?
And he's like, "Aren't you Tim from Droid Life?"
No,
Aren't you
hopefully.
him?
Aren't you the guy that announces what website you're on every time you start the podcast?
Except, but like with the way things are lined up, and I thought that maybe he was some Samsung exec rocking the Note 3 already, and I was
Don't
like,
you hate that paranoia where it's like, what if this is like a scoop right now? Like I've never seen this phone for
That's
sure.
exactly
I
what
was
was
like,
going
this
through
is it, this is it, and
This is my moment.
so she goes.
I'm going straight to Engadget off of this.
Oh jeez.
Everybody's getting paid.
So she goes over there and she's like, "Hey, what phone is that?" And he's like, "Oh, this is the." He was from Germany, so he barely spoke English very well, but he just said Samsung Note. And I was like, "Oh, like the OG Note? Like it looks really good from a distance, But just people are still rocking the Note, and you brought that up, so I wanted to share that. So I was kind of embarrassed for myself, but just because I didn't know that was the Note. But
yeah, it was HFFA, hot from far away.
Yeah, exactly. I've never used that acronym before, but thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome to 2008.
I was gonna say I just learned something new. Thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That's what I'm here for.
So,
Yeah, it's all, guys, huh?
Oh yeah.
so yeah, there's not a lot else to say, right? Until we can spend a lot of time with it and go through features and see what's new. It's just kind of another Note with a better display and more RAM and an upgraded camera. The S Pen's new, but they say that every year. They say the S Pen's got new features, and then you play with it and you kind of go, I don't really see what's so new. I don't know. So it's it's $299 on contract, by the way, $300. So same price as the Note 2 was.
But they're doing a good job of.
And the Droid Max?
Yeah.
But
I think they're doing a good job of iterating every year of making. They're not monumental improvements, but they're like you can put the S Pen in from any direction and. Yeah. They're adding little features here. They're doing good. It's not like they're putting out the same phone every year with the same skin.
Right.
They're just copying Apple at this point. Just putting a little information.
Yeah, I love using a stylus on my iPhone. It's just so great.
You wish.
It's funny how you pointed out that the pen can go in any direction because they made kind of a big deal about that. So that means they got massive amounts of complaints from people saying, "Why can't I just put the pen in any way I want?"
Yeah, all the people that didn't use a Windows mobile phone before when you definitely had to get it in a certain way.
Right.
Well, it's about time. So.
Yeah. So that's there. We'll hopefully have that soon. Let's talk about this Galaxy Gear.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just kind of dying to know what you guys took away from. I played with the thing and I don't want one. I'll say that right now. It's big, and the battery only lasts a day, and I don't want to charge another device. I already have to charge a phone and a tablet and now a watch. To me, it does too much, I think. A watch should be fairly, at least in my vision of a smartwatch, kind of simple. It just is an extension of your phone, not hey, let's run full apps on this tiny little screen. I would rather just pull my phone out. So it's $300. Has a 1.6-inch display, 512 megabytes of RAM or something, 4 gig internal storage, I believe. There's a camera in the strap, and there's also a speaker, so you can take calls like this. Apparently, you can do this and take calls.
I don't believe you. No way.
you can.
This is the future. It's amazing. Like, come on, guys.
This is not the future. I will say that the design of it, the design of it outside of the giant camera nipple, which I can't stand that. I wish they would have just left that off. The design doesn't look that bad. You can get some different colors.
What? It looks horrible.
I don't think it's like.
Yeah, it looks a lot better than the renders we had previously seen. Is what it
looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look.
Looks better than a Moto Active, and that's
I don't know about that.
Oh, are you guys kidding me?
I think this is the worst looking watch I've seen. Certainly the worst looking smartwatch I've seen.
You're tripping.
It looks way better than the Pebble. Come on.
What? Oh, the Pebble's boring. The Pebble's just so boring.
The Pebble's simple, and you can make it look however you want with the different watch faces.
Oh, yeah, totally. A watch face. Sweet.
Yeah. It's a fact.
Okay, so
yeah, it might be a fact. It's a boring fact.
Look, see, right now I've got my Iron Man watch face. So I can be Tony Stark if I want right now.
Could be Tony Stark.
I could be. You don't know. I'm wearing red.
It could be.
Halfway there.
I'm not saying
Halfway
it
there.
could be. I'm just saying it's a boring.
And
watch.
look, no camera nipples, so no, creep shots. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. You
overall,
can't
it's
take
better.
creep shots while I can take creep shots. You're losing and I'm winning. Like
Snapchat Galaxy Gear. All right. Well, we could argue about the look and design. We obviously all have different tastes on that. Let's just get your thoughts.
Yeah, and then some of
thoughts
us
on
have
the-
taste. Others.
Oh.
Okay, I have a Pebble, and I think the thing looks really cheap and cheesy, and I don't wear it. So
It does, but I
Damn.
think it looks better than the gear.
All right.
we'll just leave it at that. Timmy. Did I just call you Timmy? Tim.
You did. From now on, you have to call him that.
Timmy the Toolman Taylor.
I apologize for that. I did not mean to call
Timmy.
you.
Oh,
But
no,
anyways,
it's quite
give
alright.
me your Galaxy Gear thoughts.
Galaxy Gear thoughts. Well, I think, like you said, I think it looks a lot better than we had initially thought it was going to look. Sure, the whole charging every day kind of blows, except the whole does this feature wireless charging? Because I know the Qualcomm Talk did.
I
No,
don't think
this
so.
does not. All right. Well, okay. So I changed my thoughts on that a little bit.
Now it sucks.
Having to charge an additional device every night is a pain, especially if you're one of those people that goes out, has a real job. You get to go outside in the world and stuff. For me, okay, charging a whole bunch of devices probably isn't the biggest deal, but yeah, for the regular consumer, I could find that to be extremely annoying because just say you spend the night at a friend's house or something like that, and your watch is dead. It's useless if it's dead, and you're not going to wear it if it's useless, right? So,
Right.
so basically, I don't know. I'm going to hopefully get my hands on one soon and really try it out and prove that it's better than the Pebble, Ron. But I mean, okay, the camera's a little obnoxious. There's a few obnoxious things about it, but it's better than I thought it was going to be. So that's all I got. And you can run apps on it, except they're not Google Play apps, so that's a downer too. I'm sure I'll think of more.
And they made a champagne and white model just
Well,
before.
Gotta
Apple
have
did.
the champagne. Come on.
You know they had to go back to the drawing board as soon as they heard those rumors. They're like, all right, we got to do this.
Yep.
Gotta have a champagne
It doesn't
model
matter how
first.
much money we have to throw at our production line. We're making this.
Throw it all.
I'm looking at the press images of it right now. I
It's
really don't
sexy,
think this
right?
looks that bad. Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
kind of like the look of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you
I like the look
serious?
of it.
Yeah.
I just don't like the giant,
giant
camera nipple.
screws
That
on the
totally.
front?
Yeah, that kind of goes a little industrial. I don't know. I don't mind that so
All
much.
of them have that weird orange clock font, which looks horrible.
Well, you can change all that, can't you? Yeah.
Yep.
The font?
change that.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
you
can
changed the
change-
font.
I don't know if you can change the font, but you can definitely change the way your home screen
Change the-
appears.
Hey, you can change the color.
Speaking of fonts, so day job, I work for a computer consulting company. Somebody had their default font in Word set to Comic Sans.
Oh god.
Oh yes.
No
Yeah.
joke, like that was what they were going to default. I was like, are you trolling me? Like, what is going on right now?
That's what my mom does on her Galaxy S3. It's disgusting.
Gross.
She does really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
you don't
remember the
stop it?
first time.
Why do you think I moved so far away from her? Like,
I can't handle
get
this.
around it.
Remember the first time Tim and I saw Comic Sans on a Samsung device? It was the Droid Charge at CES, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were playing with the thing. I think we stopped halfway through our first video, like filming of it, and just went, "Is that Comic Sans?" And I don't think we could figure out how to change it at the time, so we just rolled with it. Are they still putting that? Is that on the Galaxy? Does anyone have a Galaxy device next to them? No.
I guarantee you they still put
They still put that on
Comic
there.
Sans like
Galaxy
fonts
Nexus.
on there, no doubt.
My Galaxy S4 is the Google Play, so it doesn't have any of that garbage. All right. Anyways, back to the gear. Ron, all right, let's hear it. What's up with the gear? You just hate this thing? You do, don't you?
I hate the look of it.
Okay.
In terms
know
of
that.
like functionality and stuff like having like the little apps and stuff like that, I actually think some of those look pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Like the Path one, I thought was pretty cool. So I mean, it's in terms of functionality and stuff like that, they haven't like innovated in any major way. I don't think anybody needs to have a camera on their wrist. Like, I don't think that's innovative or helpful. And I really, really hate the look of it. But other than that, I think they did a decent job with it. All things considered. So, I don't. Based on the look and the design of it, I think it's pretty clear that this wasn't in the R&D for very long. So, but
This is a hot. Now I'm looking at some more pictures, and it's pretty hot. Even the nipple, like it does
it's
stick
hot
out, but
from
not
far away,
that
maybe.
much.
But once you get up close,
No.
man, it's not
Like
good.
this black one is dope. Like this thing is sick.
Ugh.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking back to more pictures now.
And like when you think about it, the watch face itself isn't really that big. It's just a little square on there. It's not that bad. Like I think the design's really good. It's nice and like industrial yet modern. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I could throw out some sweet words for this, but
I could
But I don't
throw out
wanna
some
bore
sweet
you.
words for this. Yeah. All right, Eric, what do you think about the gear when you saw this
Okay,
come across?
I had zero expectations going into this
Uh-huh.
Good to know.
because I just figured that it was going to be god awful, and I mean,
Eh.
I've
What do you
already
think about
I've
the
talked on
one
former shows before how I'm not really a fan of the smartwatch because one, I feel I don't want to charge a watch every night. The only reason I use the Nike Fuel Band is because I can get away with like 4 or 5 days without it, without charging it, and it'll still work. It'll still show me the time. So I don't know. It's whatever. I don't really like the look of it. I think that the fact that it has to be Samsung apps is going to hurt it in the long run.
Mhm.
If it had ran Google Play apps where you had just had to change the screen size a little bit, that might be different. And it really doesn't need a camera. I feel like there's going to be a lot of lawsuits from invasion of privacy and peep shots and all that kind of stuff. And
You
the
just see
Snapchat,
everyone walking around like doing this, going.
my God, the Snapchat app for Galaxy Gear, that's probably the worst
boy.
idea I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's
So-
where the invasion of privacy comes in. Pictures are gone. What do you want me to do?
I think it's great because if your mind is in the gutter, then sure, you're going to think of a whole bunch of nasty stuff you can do with it. But if you think of it as a productive tool, then you can find other things to do with it besides nastiness. Like you guys aren't just
So easy for creep shots.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
the only-
how do we feel about the app situation not being play? Eric, you think that's going to hurt it? What does everybody else think about that?
It will hurt it.
Well, Samsung wants you to use their app store because no one uses it, and this is a way, at least, to try to get some people to start using it.
A Huawei, if you will.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
No.
I don't know if it matters that much. I haven't messed around in their store enough to know if they have good apps in there or not. Like, I don't think there's going to be an Instagram for your Galaxy Gear or something like that, even though it is square.
There will be Instagram for Windows Phone before there's Instagram for Galaxy
Yeah.
Gear.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
never
No.
gonna
That
happen.
is
So.
that is probably true. So
We'll see.
And the fact that it needs Bluetooth Low Energy is like necessity, but the fact that Android just now put that into their operating system and no phones have it is a problem.
Oh, speaking of, yeah. What about we didn't even talk about this, but it's only available on what, the Note 3 and the new Tab, right?
the what?
It'll only work with those two devices right now.
Oh
right?
yes, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's a good point.
So that's
It
kind of a
will.
huge, giant problem.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest problems I had.
Yeah,
that
we
I
didn't
read
talk
coming
about
out of
that.
it.
Yeah, so I tend to just pick up new tech to test it and see if I like it and stuff like that. I can't do that because I don't own a Note 3 and I don't plan on buying one. And it'll eventually support the Galaxy S4 will eventually work with it, and potentially the Galaxy S3 and Note 2.
Does the S3 have Bluetooth 4?
Oh, probably not. No, probably
It
not.
might.
Well,
I mean, it was out then, so I mean.
The Note 2 should.
They said that firmware updates would be needed, but that
Okay.
it was possible for it to work on
Okay.
the Galaxy Note
Okay.
2 and the S3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then,
So,
but
yeah, I
then, so
didn't
then, yeah. But I mean, if you go whenever these are available, like it's pretty unlikely that the updates are going to be on those phones by then.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. You're right. That limits everyone. So they're trying to sell it as this package deal, Note 3 and Galaxy Gear, and they're not giving a discount for that package either, by the way. And yeah, that's it. You're right. Only Note 3 people will be able to use it. We don't know when exactly everyone else will get it. It doesn't work with just other Android phones, which is a terrible idea. So they're limiting themselves. I know Samsung sells millions and millions and millions of devices, and they'll probably be able to sell plenty of these things, but I don't know. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, I probably won't get one now, or even test. Well, we'll test one. Obviously, we'll review one, but I won't buy one personally because it won't work with any of the phones I choose to use. So.
Yeah, and just to confirm, the S3 does indeed have Bluetooth 4. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
So yeah, so
Those.
it will support those devices just down the road sometime, and I would assume that also means whenever the carrier updates that phone so that it supports Galaxy Gear, and that's unfortunate. So. I think we're all kind of at a agreement that we don't really care about the Galaxy Gear that much.
Oh,
Not all
well,
that much.
okay. Well, I mean, sure.
Yeah, come on, Tim. You're lumped into this.
Okay.
Get over here.
All right.
Yeah, no, I mean, sure, I'll rock it for a week and then I'll get sick of it like all the other smartwatches I've tried. So, sure, why not? Throw it at me. And then I'll get tired of it and just not charge it and then not care. I mean,
and I think that's the big thing is that if you were looking for one to like really like change what smartwatches mean, this wasn't it.
especially, the $300 price range. Okay, so Kellen used the example as soon as it was announced. He's like, I only have to charge my Nike Fuel Band a week, and I don't even get around to doing that all the time, so let alone once a day to charge a Galaxy Gear. It's not going to happen. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a terrible tablet person because I leave tablets sitting on my coffee table or by
I'm
my
the
bed.
same way.
Yeah, and then the battery dies. I can't even remember to charge that. Now you're going to add a watch that I have to charge every single day and hope that it doesn't die by the end of the day. Because if that ever happened, if I was wearing the Galaxy Gear and it died at 10 o'clock at night and I couldn't
Just
charge
throw
it,
it
I
in
would
the
be
trash while you're out.
Oh, I'd be completely pissed. Yeah, my watch doesn't work right now. You should never have to say that. My
Hey,
watch.
Kellen, what time
My
is
watch
it?
died.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I ran out
So-
of
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Whenever my Pebble dies, I look awesome with this blank screen sitting on my wrist. At least a lot more awesome than my arm looks with watch stand.
So you can pull it off. Not everyone can pull it off.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's for
a hot
everybody.
look. It's a
I'm not
hot
saying
look.
everybody can pull that look off. Yeah.
No, you're special, Ron. You're very
So-
special.
That
The-
word
I-
looks.
I will say that
particular.
the Pebble, even though I admit that I don't like the look of it, far and away better smartwatch, I would say right now, than the Galaxy Gear. It just does more.
If not for
simple
price alone,
things.
then just for functionality.
Yeah.
There should be a definition for what smartwatch is, because in my mind, I don't really see the Pebble as being a smartwatch. Like
I think anything that can connect up to your phone and give you some sort of notifications or information from your phone, I think that should be called a smartwatch.
Yeah, but how smart is it? I mean, like, I don't know. I just think it's a loose term that people throw around, because I think in terms of functionality, there's a huge difference between the Galaxy Gear and a Pebble.
Oh,
Yet
yeah.
both are smart
But
watches.
yeah, and I think the big difference between those two is that the Gear, God, that's a really bad name. We haven't mentioned that, but really bad name. Runs apps, and I think that's the main differentiator. So if you're looking for something that runs apps, the Pebble's obviously not it, unless you like playing Snake a lot. So that's it. So if you are looking to throw down some money on whatever is out right now in smartwatches, and you just want whatever has the most functionality, then yeah, the Gear is your best bet right now. But I think we're going to see some more innovation from some other companies here pretty quick.
Like
I
Apple.
hope
Google.
Google does it
And
right.
Google.
Google,
I
I think
hope
Google will be
does it
next.
right, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Google's next, and I hope they do it right.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
well, the big thing would be if they integrate now in a really interesting way. I think that's where it's going to be a big
Well, I
deal.
think they're gonna probably take part of the Google Glass card UI and put it on a watch. It's that simple card style you can flip left and right. I think that's what they're probably going to do. That's my guess, anyways. The UI is going to look similar to Glass, but at least
I'm just hoping they do a circular watch. That's all I want.
you don't want a square watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be
Just
square.
imagine you tap it and it's got the little round, the red listening to you thing, like you have on
Oh,
Google
I see
Now
what
on
you're
the phone.
saying. Yeah, the Google Now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it'll look good if they did that. I don't think they'll do it because everybody does square screens, but I think that'd be cool, and that would definitely differentiate it in terms of if you're looking at smartwatches in a store or online. That's going to stand out.
Interesting.
Very interesting. That should be coming in a month and a half, 2 months.
Mm.
Should be good. All right, move out of Gear. We'll have a review unit. Tim will dive all into that thing. I'll try to get a hold of one too, because I at least want to test this thing. I want to see if I could if charging every day drives me nuts or not, or if any of the apps I really want to use on a tiny little 1.5-inch screen, all that stuff. And if I want to take pictures with a nipple on my wrist.
The answer to that
Test.
question is no. That's a spoiler right there. The
I'm
answer
going to
is no.
join Snapchat
Shots fired.
just for this, because I
Yes,
don't use
Kellen
Snapchat,
wants
but I'm going to join Snapchat just for this, and I'm going to send Eric nipple Snapchat
Please.
pictures.
Eric's
Please
going to
do.
be your only friend.
Yes.
Just nipple
He
shots
is.
from the nipple cam.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Ron, did you add me on Snapchat? You get my
Maybe.
snaps?
I have it deleted, so
I think I tried to
should I
add you
reinstall to
the
get the
other week.
snaps?
I
Damn,
swear,
couldn't
I
find
send
it.
out snaps to all you guys, and they never get replied. And
I'm gonna reinstall. I'm gonna
I'm starting to
reinstall
feel a little
Secret
ugly over here.
This is
so-
happening. You're gonna get so many selfies. You're gonna hate your life.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the G2, Tim?
Let's talk some G2 action.
See if I
Because
can find
boy, that phone's hot.
Is it though?
G2. Look at that
Mine's-
reflective, glossy, greasy back. Look at that thing.
I'd pull it out, but mine's dead on the counter, so I can't
Killed
reach
it?
it.
You murdered it?
The battery's
Murder.
not so hot so far, from what I've realized.
Yeah, but you're using an international terrible version,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Because I'm
good point.
so I've been using the Verizon version all day, and I set it up and been using it like crazy. Let me look at battery.
Lol, Timmy.
I am at 48% left, 8 hours of use.
That's not terrible.
With a solid almost 2 hours of screen on time. So that's not bad.
Are you on
3,000
Wi-Fi?
Nope, just LTE.
All right. Not
Yeah,
bad.
so not bad at all. It should be good, right? It's a 3,000 milliamp hour battery.
Yes.
Okay, so anyways, G2, we've got the Verizon version and getting Tim the AT&T version tomorrow so he can have at it. We've also had the international version all weekend, but I got to tell you, I gave up on it because it was only getting HSPA and I don't know. So we all know the specs of the G2. The big thing is what do we think of the build and what do we think of the button situation? I personally cannot stand the button situation. I want buttons on the side. I want my thumb to just press the power lock switch, and when I'm in a call or something, my other finger resting right there on the volume. And with this, I find myself being confused often, trying to find where the button is. Like, I'm like, am I on the power button? Am I on volume? Luckily, you can do this tap thing, and it'll turn the screen on. Work.
When it works.
There.
It's so janky.
Hey.
That's the most janky feature ever.
So luckily you can do that so you don't actually have to hit the back button, but so far the button arrangement, it's not innovative. It's not a good idea. I don't think anyway. What do you think, Tim?
The issue is that you can't differentiate between what button you're on like very well. And so the placement itself I found is not the worst. Like for example, like the placement of this nipple. Like I find myself touching the nipple on the Moto X kind of like a lot. But then on the G2, the device is bigger, so your hand is kind of you have to grab it a bit more, so your index finger doesn't end up on the buttons as it does, say, on the Moto X. I almost dropped it, but I didn't. So other than the button placement being a little unorthodox, I think it's actually okay. I kind of found myself getting a little used to it and all that. But yeah, I mean, I handed it to some friends, and they're like, "How do I turn it on?" I was like, "Oh, well, just tap on the screen." And like the tapping on the screen is not 100% all the time. You find yourself having to like double tap sometimes, and that's annoying, and it makes you look foolish. So yeah, I don't know. But other than besides the awesome specs that it has and that sweet camera that I can't stop hype beasting, I mean, it's not a terrible device. I'm excited to try it out on a real network instead of having it on like T-Mobile 3G or no, AT&T's HSPA Plus, which is stuck at like 3 megs down. So yeah, that's
that's not
that's
good.
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. So
nipple.
the only things I don't necessarily like about the phone. Yeah, the only things I don't necessarily like about the phone are the glossy, gross backside and the button arrangement. The rest of it, even for a 5.2-inch device, it's not the biggest phone ever. Like you could manage. The display is crazy beautiful. The full HD display looks really, really good. The camera, like Tim said, like I haven't analyzed pictures up close or anything, but when I take a picture, it looks really good on the display. It's also instant shutter, probably the fastest camera I've ever used on a smartphone.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
I beat you.
I obviously like the on-screen navigation buttons are nice, especially since they've taken the swipe up for Google Now and added on some extra features like quick memo and this stupid voice mate thing, but it's kind of a good idea to add to that swipe up from home. I'm actually glad they went with this is going to sound terrible if I'm an Android guy, but I'm glad they went with a menu button instead of the multitask button. I just find myself hitting menu a lot more or looking for an action overflow button than I do trying to hit the multitask button, but maybe that's just me. The phone's obviously crazy fast. The skin's a little overwhelming. I'll probably never use quick memo and all that stuff, but if this was my phone like as a daily driver, I'd put Nova or something on here, put some custom icons, which you can actually customize the icons with the stock UI, which is kind of cool. But I put Nova, all my favorite apps, and this phone would probably be amazing. And then I'd put a case on it so it hid this terrible glossy stuff. But I don't know. It's a really nice phone. I don't really have that many bad things to say about it.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I think in terms of overall, if you just had to have a plain black phone, they do come in white, but if you had a plain black phone and you wanted a huge display, good battery life, from what you're saying so far, then the G2 is like not a bad choice at all. Snapdragon 800, 2.5 or 2.3 gigabytes of RAM. Come on now.
I think it's just 2.
Just 2? I thought I had a little special number there, 2.3.
200 gigahertz Snapdragon at 800, if that's what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about now.
Neither do I. I'm talking about RAM. I thought it had 2.3 gigabytes of RAM.
No, it just has 2 gig of RAM, I think. But 32 gig storage, no SD slot on these US versions.
One shot fired.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cool phone, and I like it. I mean, I kind of like it just as much as I did when I went to see it in New York. I mean, it's pretty sweet. The speakers kind of suck. I played some music out of it, and the speakers were kind of like,
Right there. Headphone jack on the bottom. Headphone jack on the bottom.
That's the winning feature right there.
It is. Thank you for that, LG.
You guys recommend that over the Note 3 or S4 or something that size?
Hard to tell yet. We're going to have to get some hands-on time with the Note 3.
I'll tell you right now, I would rather have this than the Note 3, just because the Note 3 is huge.
Really? Just even though the button placement's a little weird.
Yeah, because you can just do the tap thing.
Can you though?
As it does not work.
Well, it's in my hand, so it's not fair.
You literally just touched it and nothing happened. Twice.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're like
Come on. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Totally delayed.
It tends to work better when you do it on a desk,
when
or
it's
you're
full.
not.
Definitely.
See, it turned off real good.
It does turn off real well, but it doesn't turn on.
Yeah. So
it's trying to tell you something.
It is.
So yeah.
It really is a pretty good phone. If you were between this and the Galaxy S4, that's tough because the Galaxy S4 to me feels better in hand. It just has a slightly smaller build. And you can buy the white version Galaxy S4, which you can't see the nasty fingerprints on. And we don't know if the white version's coming to the US yet. And you can see look at this thing. It's just gross. Look at that.
Oh,
it's gross.
Sir.
It's gross. So yeah, G2. And I don't really know what to say about the G2. We'll have reviews soon, actually. Probably Monday-ish, I would guess. And it's on sale tomorrow, Verizon. $199. Anyone down to buy it? Actually, we don't have this on our show script. Do you guys want to talk about this Nexus 5 stuff?
Oh, how could we not have it on the
I didn't even think about it. I don't know, because my computer crashed and I didn't have time to prep.
All right.
Nexus 5, FCC, all but confirmed.
Oh,
right?
Confirmed.
Nothing's confirmed though.
But it's all but confirmed, so it's all right.
So we're pretty sure at this point, right, LG is making the Nexus. We don't know if it's called the Nexus 5. Everyone just keeps saying that. But it's codename Hammerhead, which we dropped that little name a while ago, and it was seen in the FCC docs. So we're pretty sure this is the next Nexus. About a 5-inch screen. Snapdragon 800, I believe. We don't necessarily know that the resolution's 1080p or something. I would imagine it probably will be.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, we don't really know any of their specs. I don't think we know camera and stuff, too. We know batteries.
There's going to be one spec where it's going to be like last year's spec, and we're all going to wonder
what happened. So it has Thunderbolt LTE chip.
Yeah. It would. Yeah, what could that be? The camera's just going to be terrible. Well, if they put the same sensor...
No, that's a given. Nexus cameras don't come with good camera. Doesn't equal good, so it's going to be something else. And I'm thinking it's going to be a 720p screen, and everybody's going to be mad.
But see, I'm fine with that. I'm using a Moto X as my daily phone. You just bought a Moto X.
Shh.
Spoilers. Nobody knows except for anybody that follows on Twitter.
You just blasted it out there.
Yeah,
was I not supposed to do
very
that?
Public information.
Sorry.
Were we waiting for like a big announcement there? I'm sorry.
I was going to talk about it after apps.
He was going to Snapchat to everybody in the chat.
Oh, everyone just pause for 5 minutes. So we're pretty sure. Yeah, retroactively. So LG probably making the next Nexus. Pretty damn sure. 2300 milliampere battery, LTE bands all over the place except Verizon's. No Verizon LTE.
Still not.
Yeah, which everyone just freaked out, right? When we posted this, no Verizon. It's probably not coming to Verizon. It's not that it was gonna be sold through Verizon, but it's just not gonna connect to Verizon's network. Sorry, it's just not. Until they maybe launch AWS in Band 4, which they're barely gonna do by the end of the year. So don't get your hopes up. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Just wait until Verizon does voice over LTE. Then you can get your Nexus.
Nah,
Yeah, it'll
probably not
be-
even then.
2015.
Yeah, probably a year away. You'll be able to buy a Nexus, and it'll just work via LTE on Verizon. Maybe, hopefully. Yeah. So otherwise, we don't really know much. We don't know pricing and all that stuff. I guess I could look back. We wrote up a whole giant post about it, but it's coming. The new Nexus, probably next month. Okay, Eric, are you ready? Do you want to announce
What?
something?
Oh, no, I was going to do it after apps, like in the wrap-up section.
Oh, damn it! I feel so bad now.
It's
Don't feel bad.
Okay, I don't feel that bad. You just want to talk about these Apple announcements from yesterday briefly?
Yeah, we could touch on them.
Okay.
Well,
touch
we can't bash on them. We had a request in the comment section of the post that we can't bash.
Don't say anything bad about Apple at all.
No bashing.
You better not.
Can I just talk shit about Phil Schiller for 20 minutes straight? That guy
Yeah,
is
we can talk
such
about
a
I don't know
but
why. I don't
I
get
feel
it.
like Apple bashing has gotten
That guy is
long
such a
past its time.
tool. Well, yeah, I don't
I
necessarily.
don't think he is.
He's such a tool.
Don't think so.
He's my least favorite. The other Apple guys are just kind of goofy nerds. He's like I'm a tough guy Apple guy. He's just such a dude. I don't even care about the Android digs that he throws out every once in a while. He's just I'll stop talking.
Really? You had a post specifically about that?
I know.
Don't care about it.
He just drives. He's the one Apple guy that just
Yeah.
drives me nuts.
He had to get it out of his system, Ron, but he's all right now.
It's out now. I'm good now. Good.
Feeling better.
So iPhone 5S and iPhone 5C, and iPhone 5S is what you would expect. It's just the new version of the iPhone 5 with the new processor, new camera, fingerprint scanner, and then the 5C is colorful and plastic.
It is the
Yes.
iPhone 5, just with colors.
and
it's
a better
plastic, though.
FaceTime camera and slightly bigger battery.
Better FaceTime. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit thicker device.
So it's an
So-
iPhone 5.
Yeah. So
Like,
not that.
with a little bit extra thickness comes a little bit extra magic and just workiness.
And responsibility, because it has greater power.
I
So-
love this.
Sorry.
So they also released the Croc case or the Connect 4 case.
Man, they were
And
really hyped up about
They
those
were
cases.
so excited
home
about
case.
those. They're the
Whoa.
ugliest cases I've ever seen. You know what's
I
funny?
don't know about that.
HTC
I think they were kind of cool, but they were not the level of
cares?
cool that they were like blowing them up to be.
They were so
But
I
it's
think
a
they'd
case,
be
so I
great
just
if
don't
the back
get
of
it.
the phone didn't say hone when you have it on.
Yeah, so that's I completely agree. When I saw it on there, I went, wait a minute. You can see it says kind of iPhone there, and there's like FCC things stuff in there. It looks
Yeah.
terrible because that's not covered. So
And if you watch the keynote, like the first shots of it don't even have iPhone on there.
Oh, really?
So they ignore that. And then second time, no FCC stuff, but you can see the hone. So like slowly admitted to it, but not quite.
yeah, not a good. And you know, HTC did. I think for the One X, they did
Yeah,
a
it was
case. It
those-
looks like
yeah.
it looks pretty similar.
See,
They did a
and I
case that
thought
had all
those
the
were kind
holes.
of cool, so that's probably why I thought the other the iPhone cases were
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad look if you didn't have a lot of text in the bottom.
The only thing that I took away from yesterday was the what do they call it? The mobile processor or
The M7.
the M7 processor. And that Nike came out and they were like, "Hey, look, we've got this new app." And then it reminded me that Nike Fuel Band never got released for Android, and that
No,
was the
never.
only
That's
thing that I was
coming-
thinking
it's
about
coming
for
last
the rest
summer.
of the press conference.
It's coming
So,
last
yeah.
summer, dude. Don't worry about it.
That was my thoughts on iPhone 5s.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
heard,
my
I
hand
heard
over
that
here.
too,
Look
and
at
just
my hand
went.
over here.
I just went. I hate you, Nike. And I buy all your stuff. So. Yeah, so that all
Did you
happened,
just get a
right?
new pair of shoes last week?
Yeah, I did. I hate Nike's Fuel Band department. I'll limit it to
Okay,
that.
yeah.
How about
I'll
that?
get down
That's
with you on
fine.
that.
Yeah. So iPhone 5S and 5C and we got champagne or gold. What are they calling it actually? What's the color?
It's called gold,
It is called gold.
Gold.
Okay.
but the black is called space gray. Everything else
Okay.
is like called a normal color. They call it like pink, blue, green, whatever.
Yeah.
The black one that used to be black is called space gray now.
So they
Makes
invented
sense.
gray. There wasn't that.
That was the official claim.
Yeah. So Ron, you use an iPhone. You have an iPad.
What? Don't tell anybody that.
Don't tell anyone. So a guy that likes Apple products on that mobile sort of level, what did you think? I'm just curious.
I think the 5S looks like crap across the board. I don't
Because
care.
of the fingerprint scanner? Because it looks ugly? Or
No, the fingerprint scanner doesn't bug me as much as you basically end up having a kind of a three-tone phone between all the different colors, especially on the white and the gold, because you get you have the black screen, then you have the white front, and then you have the gold accents or silver for the regular white one. I don't think that looks good. I think the 5C looks great, and I am anticipating them selling a lot of those.
You're trolling me.
No, I think it looks really good. What are you going to do? I also like the look of the Lumia 800 and 900. I think those are good-looking phones.
Okay,
They
yeah.
run a
So can we
crappy
talk about
OS,
Nokia yesterday?
What did
Nokia wants
do?
to think that they invented something.
Oh,
You
with
didn't hear
their
about
Well,
with
they
their
haven't
tweet.
invented a lot. I don't know.
The
Recently,
I missed that.
sorry, recently.
That
I
was
don't know what's
pretty
going on
funny.
with Nokia.
They,
Oh.
they
Hear about that
along
tweet?
with some other companies, tweeted out talking about innovation and things like that, and that they basically just posted up a picture of the iPhone 5C next to some of the, I think it was the Lumia, what was it, 625?
Oh yeah.
And they all
Except
have
the
almost the
625
same
is
colors.
$300 cheaper off
Yep.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes with Windows Phone, so wah wah.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy it anyway, but unless you're in a developing country, and then you would, and that's what the investors care about, Ron.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they
well,
made a plastic phone. And
Speaking
that's
of
it.
investors, I heard that the stock dropped because the investors thought the 5C was still too expensive for what it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that
Which is
it dropped.
historically true of Apple stock, except for the first iPhone launch. It's dropped every single other time.
Yeah, it dropped 5% or something today, but it probably is too expensive. Well, everyone thought Apple was going to move into emerging, developing markets and sell a really cheap plastic phone, and they created this really cheap plastic phone, and they're just not selling it that cheaply in terms of off
Hey, that
contracts.
kind of sounds like another company that we thought was going to start selling a really cheap phone, and then it wasn't that cheap.
Moto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, but you look at what they're doing in China, I think is interesting. That they're keeping the 4 around. So I think that's their kind of plan for emerging, is to keep doing
yeah,
that.
I thought
but-
that was the weirdest part from yesterday, was that they just deleted the iPhone 5 and got rid of the 4S. They were like, sorry, we kind of messed up with the 5, so we're just going to delete that, and you can buy a 4S if you really want last year's phone.
It's like I said to Tim, I feel bad for people. I'm sure there's this massive market of people that when the new iPhone's released, they go, sweet, I can get last year's one for cheaper now, and I'm going to wait and get the all-metal iPhone 5 for $99. And all those people are screwed
sorry.
now. They can't buy it. They
Deleted.
have to buy a plastic iPhone.
And if you can't get the 4S because that doesn't even have LTE, so you're going to be way behind then.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and you got the old dock. Yeah, it was kind of a weird move. But I think, if anybody was waiting for that, they are getting, in terms of specs, they're getting a better phone with the 5C, and I think a phone that looks a lot better, and definitely isn't going to scratch and look like crap after it scratches.
That is
So.
true. So they got rid of that really dark color because they couldn't keep the color on, right?
No,
That's why
there's
they went-
obviously no official statement, but that would be my guess, is that it was,
Okay.
when it scratched, it looked like crap. So.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. All right, sweet. So that's Apple news. It didn't really
Crazy.
affect us, but we talked about it because there was nothing else going on yesterday.
I do
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
I do think the fingerprint scanner, it looks like they did a really good job with that. All the videos that I saw of it looks like it works really well. So I'd be interested to see if some Android manufacturers bring that in as well. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, it worked pretty well on the Atrix too, but that thing didn't sell very, very well at all. But
That was the
I'm
Atrix,
really-
and it was terrible.
Yeah, there's some issues with it. It's
What did I
only on
say?
AT&T.
It's
Called
and-
Moto Blur.
Yeah.
sorry, but
First dual-core phone.
yeah, I'm trying to talk Kellen into making sure that we get an iPhone 5S for us to review for the site, because we actually had Twitter was blowing up today saying the Droid Lab crew should get an iPhone to review. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and make
Yeah,
it
so
happen.
I want to hear in the chat. Just sort of give us your thoughts. And we've had a number of people ask if we will review the iPhone 5S. I don't really want to, but
Just
just say yes
just say
or
Tim will
no.
do it. Just Tim will do it, and just let's get it over with.
Yeah, nobody wants me to do it.
Yeah, I figured since I give Ron enough crap, I should at least try and open my
But
horizons.
what if you
a bit.
switch? Then what's going to happen? You can't talk about
What
Android
if?
then. You can't possibly
What if,
know
bro?
anything about Android if you use an iPhone. I don't know if you knew
That's
that.
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Also, people will threaten your life on Reddit if you use an iPhone. Fun fact.
Yes,
Thanks,
they will.
Redditors.
They love you. They love you. They do
That's
that because they
embarrassing.
love
The internet is embarrassing.
you.
They
Yeah.
embarrass themselves quite often. All right, let's stop talking about the iPhone. Let's talk about apps and games. You guys have any? Ron, you
Yeah.
got an app or a game or something?
Yeah, well, we put it up on the site, but Dig finally released on Android,
Oh, yes, they did.
and I had been using it on iOS because apps are still developed there first, like always. But it's a pretty, a lot of people I think are still using Press is mostly what I'm seeing. Most people still use now that Google Reader has died.
Feedly. Feedly.
Feedly for some, yeah, Feedly are using people that too. I don't care for Feedly, but Dig I really do like. So the big things I like about Dig are obviously you can pull in all your feeds and do all that junk, but it syncs everywhere. So if you have multiple devices, it syncs there and syncs on the web and all that, which most of them do. But having a web client is kind of nice too. Not all of them have that yet. But the big thing for me is they have popular stories, which is what Dig was based on back in the day, where you dig a story or whatever, and that would get kind of pushed up. So it's the forerunner to Reddit, for those of you that are too young to remember what the internet was like. But so they have
land before Reddit. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Reddit has not always been the front page of the internet.
Yeah, I remember when Reddit was this tiny little terrible site, and Dig was where you went. Like you went to Dig. That was what you
Yeah,
did.
Dig was the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, they have kind of top stories through Dig. So it's just stories that people recommend and like, and I like that. It's kind of a nice way to see what other people are looking at and reading. That it's not filtered through my Twitter, which is only based on if I check out trending or if if somebody else tweets an article or whatever. It's just based on whatever's popular from a wider range of people. So I think it's worth a look, and even if you don't use it as your main RSS thing, at least for that feature of looking at popular articles, I think it's useful and helpful.
So I tried to give Dig a chance, and I had it. I use it in the browser first of all, but I put it right next to Feedly, and articles would come in through my my RSS, all my subscriptions, and I just hit refresh, and Feedly would pull up 10 articles, and Dig would pull up 2. And then other ones they just wouldn't show up through there, and so I just found it to be not as consistent as Feedly, so I couldn't use it. And then the app came out, and I said, well, maybe they've fine-tuned it. Dig's been hopefully matured a little bit now. And I tried it with the app and the Feedly app on my phones and stuff. Just didn't get the same experience, so I couldn't use it. But I wanted to because it looks really nice. I do like the app, but I just couldn't get news to come in a timely enough fashion. So.
Yeah,
but it is a good app.
I have seen that. In terms of speed, it's not as fast at refreshing your feeds. So
yeah.
if your job is to write news, then I guess that's not the app for you. But if you're just reading, then I think it's fine.
Yeah, if you're me, you can't use it. The rest of you are probably fine.
Yeah, the rest of you normals can do it.
Yeah, you're probably fine. What else we got? Tim, you got an app or game?
I got Sprinkle Islands, which is the sequel to Sprinkle.
I thought that was pronounced Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Sprinkle Islands is a really fun game. Not quite as addictive as Candy Crush, but it's still okay.
It's still okay. That's Tim's rating. It's okay.
I think it was on sale for like 99 cents. I think it even still is. You can pick it up 99 cents through Google Play. It's just like Sprinkle. If you ever played Sprinkle, it's pretty much the same thing. You're driving around in a little fire truck, and you're like a water droplet type character. And you just go around spraying fires and saving villagers. And it's fun. It's just like any kind of level game. You proceed, the levels get harder. It's kind of like Angry Birds, except you're playing with water, kind of. It's kind of just, yeah, that makes sense. So Sprinkle Islands. Yeah, my other game is, I know I'm super late, but I started playing Candy Crush like a week ago, maybe. Not even a week. Maybe, I think it was on Monday, so maybe it hasn't even been, I can't remember now. The time just flies when you're playing Candy Crush. So yeah, Candy Crush, man, I can't even explain it. You're just trying to connect little candies, and you get bombs, and you have to drop ingredients and blow up bubbles, and there's just so much going on.
Snapchat user Eric is shaking his head at you.
I was telling the guys that Candy Crush is the most addictive yet frustrating game I've ever played in the world. I get trolled on Call of Duty, and I get so mad at kids who kill me. Except Candy Crush is way more frustrating than dying in Call of Duty. And
Yeah, because it's just you. There's nobody to blame but yourself.
exactly, it's like I'm the idiot. Like it's not someone else being a jerk. It's me being an idiot, like not connecting these 3 like lemon drops or whatever. So all you have to blame is yourself. But and Candy Crush can be picked up for free on Google Play on supported Android devices, and I highly recommend it if you have a lot of time to spare. So get on that.
Yeah, I'm avoiding. Yeah, but you know what you got me into is Dots. I can't stop playing Dots.
Dots is also awesome. Have you tried the new Gravity mode that got launched a couple of days ago?
I didn't try it, no.
Not as cool as I thought it was going to be. So you
Okay.
so you press the gravity button, and so all the dots just go around, and once you let go, the dots go right back into a like the pattern formation type deal.
Uh-huh.
So basically, you don't have to use shrinkers or expanders to try
gotcha.
and get squares. You could just use the gravity and hope that you get something to match up. It's pretty interesting. It's only available for like a week, so you might want to try it before it's gone. But
Okay, I'll try it.
Dots is quite a bit of fun. Not as addictive as Candy Crush, but it's fun.
Eric, you got an app or game you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we wrote up Disa. I guess that's Disa.
I don't know. I would say
messaging app.
Disa, maybe? Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. I've been waiting for Google to update their Messenger app because it's garbage. And
Oh, you mean
Hangouts.
Google Voice or Hangouts?
Well,
Both?
Google Hangouts, Google Voice, and Messenger, the Android Messenger app, because they're all pretty bad, except for Hangouts. Hangouts is nice, and that's why I'm using Disa, because it's basically Hangouts for my text messaging, and I just get to swipe, and it's pretty smooth. And right now it only supports WhatsApp and SMS, but they said, I mean, it's basically an alpha, so they said they're going to add Facebook chat and all sorts of different messengers, which is a really good idea, and I'm surprised that nobody's done it before and that it's not built into Android already. So it's pretty awesome, and it's free. You just need to go sign up with their Google Plus community and then become a beta tester, and then you can download it. So if you go to the link without doing those 2 steps first, it won't work, which I had to figure out the hard way.
Plenty of people noticed that.
They were in the comments like, it's not working.
Not working. And I was like, well, it kind of helps if you join the group and follow
read
my
the
instructions,
story.
but don't bother doing that.
But that's okay.
Playlink.
It's pretty awesome. So if you haven't done it already, I would definitely suggest it.
It looked like a solid app. I guess I should probably check it out. But I just use Hangouts for everything, so.
All right.
That's my app. I don't have an app. Yeah, I don't have one. I have been changing phones so often the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks that I have nothing new to like wow you with.
I think it's time for a special announcement that someone wants to make.
Hold on.
Official announcement.
Right?
Eric's having
Am
a
I
baby.
alone?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
Hello.
I'm pregnant.
Money.
Okay, so Galaxy Nexus. Finally, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go do it. So I tested out the one. I played with the Droid Max. I played with the Moto X in an AT&T store because that's the only place that I can get my hands on the one.
Seriously, yeah.
And I pretty much had it narrowed down to those 3. And then I finally I was talking to Kellen about this the other day. I think that Motorola has put enough time and enough thought into the Moto X that it's going to be the phone that I want to have over the next 2 years, because they're really, and it's the little things like the skip accessory and the chargers and the docks that they have. It really makes it to where it's going to be a usable phone over the next 2 years for me. And then I was talking to Tim because I also told him about that, and we were having a discussion about the camera, and I take pictures every now and then on my phone camera, but nothing that I'm gonna be, hanging up on my wall. I have a DSLR if I need to take a pretty decent camera. So the camera, and that's really the only gripe that I've heard anybody say about the Moto X. So long story short, I picked the Moto X. I literally finished my order for it like 20 minutes before we started the show tonight. So it should be here Friday or Monday. So yeah, rest in peace, Galaxy Nexus. So, and I think it's a really underrated feature, but that Moto Connect or whatever the app is called, where you can switch all of your stuff from one phone to the other using QR codes. I think that's a really underrated feature, but that's pretty nifty. It's gonna like cut down so much time on moving stuff over. So
yeah, Moto Migrate is what that's called, I think.
yeah.
Yep, migrate.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Yeah, and I'm finally into like this generation of phone. I can get rid of this stupid Galaxy Nexus.
I was gonna say it's gotta almost feel better to just get rid of the Galaxy Nexus on Verizon.
Man, I really want to just throw the thing against a wall or something, but I'm not going to. But oh man, it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be nice. So why does Verizon still not have those in store? I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not at all. Because they're trying to sell droids. That's
and
why.
they made it that much harder to like discuss upgrading, because every time it'd be like, oh, what phone are you looking at? Oh, I was thinking about the Moto X. Oh, sorry, well, we don't have that. So
yeah.
Also, so I went up to Verizon. I was like, yo, Verizon, you need to let me keep my unlimited data, and they're no, somebody's gonna have to pay for that. And so we were talking it over, because when I upgrade, I'm on a family plan with 3 other people, so I had to, kind of figure out how this was going to affect everybody else. My mom was like, yo, I don't use 2 gigabytes of data, so what we did was activated the 2 gigabytes on her line, and then the phone is getting shipped to me, and then I'm just going to activate it on my line and get to keep my unlimited. So I got the Moto X and get to keep unlimited data. I'm a pretty happy camper.
Yeah, so essentially she's using her upgrade essentially, and then you're just putting your SIM in the phone. Yeah. So that's kind of the workaround. That's really the only workaround at this point, is if you have upgrades on your accounts and you have unlimited data, you just have to force somebody else to use their upgrade, and you just take their phone. That's kind of how it works. Yeah.
And then when you
she's
leave,
at home on
keep
Wi-Fi
your
all
number.
day, so she doesn't use that much data anyway. So she
And then
took
when
the
you
bullet
leave
for
and
me.
keep your number, you can keep that upgrade as well.
Thanks,
and your mom will
Mama.
have to wait for
Yeah.
another 2 years. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Fun
nice of you.
stuff.
Sorry, Mama.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, shout out.
Which
Shout
I know
out.
you're not, because she texted me and she's like, this is her first year of playing fantasy football. She's like, why do I have players that I can't drop? Like, well, that's a long story.
Do not go down that road. Yeah.
Oh, silly mom.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Since you guys got other stuff you want to throw out there. Oh, we got I got my Nexus 7 LTE today. Yeah, today. I'm actually going to review it. I promise. I promise. There'll be a Nexus 7 review sometime soon.
I almost don't believe it.
Right after the Chromebook review goes up.
Hey, I actually reviewed the Pixel. That's
Yeah.
up already. I'm pretty sure that's up.
Yeah,
it
it totally is.
It just took about as long to get up, is all I'm saying.
Look, the Nexus 7, it's one of those devices that it's not that hard to review, but you just kind of go, okay, it's a little bit slimmer. Okay, it's got a nicer display. It has a camera that you'll never use. Yeah, now it has LTE. It runs stock Android. So does the old Nexus 7. It's the same thing. It's just a better looking tablet with a better screen. There you go. Review.
Bam, that's your review right there. Done. Book it.
So I'll work on that, I promise.
Sounds good.
Oh, so speaking of Chromebooks, this Pixel, I wanted to take it to classes to do notes on it and stuff, because it doesn't weigh anything and it's pretty, lightweight. For some reason, the Wi-Fi on this doesn't work with the enterprise encryption that my school uses, and
Really?
it is the most annoying thing ever, because it'll sit there and I'll sit there and watch people. They're like watching ESPN and movies in class, which is a whole nother story. And I'm sitting here and I just watch the Wi-Fi signal on my phone or on the Chromebook just like go on and off. It's so annoying.
What are
I take it to
they
IT, and
using?
if it's something that I did and the IT fixes it, then I will eat my words and apologize, but I'm pretty sure it's the Chromebook.
What kind of are they using? WPA2 Enterprise or whatever?
Yeah.
It's been out for a while, so I don't know why.
Yeah,
Google
I know,
wouldn't have
that's
that
the
on
thing.
there.
So, I don't know. And I've even
kinda
tried switching from the stable to beta channel and going back, and nothing. So
Yeah.
just a little gray. That's okay though. I'll live.
Actually, speaking of you in class, since we had that conversation a couple
Oh,
shows
yeah.
ago
This is
about
what-
people
this is what we're
taking
talking
notes
about.
on tablets, how many people have you seen taking notes on tablets since we talked about that?
Oh, it's like 4 or 5, and it's
Yeah.
I noticed them before, but since we talked about it, I was like, I'm just gonna let Kellen know every time I see it now, because it's so funny. It's
You just
so good.
Snapchat Callan every time you see it.
Yeah. No, I'm not on Snapchat until I get a Galaxy Gear, and then I'm joining.
Then it's time.
Then it's time. All right. Well, I don't have anything else, so we
Awesome.
can wrap up.
All right.
Sweet. I think we'll be back next week. I don't have a calendar. My computer crashed right before we went on, so I think we'll be back next week. I don't think we have anything going on.
Pretty sure.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, everyone. This is Droid Life, episode 35 in the books. Back next week.
Adios.
Dudes.
Rest in peace, Galaxy Nexus.